about this very briefly. Pendulum, the image of a pendulum is of a thing that's going back and forth. It has a rhythmic pulse. It is creating a vibration. Now that's all well and good, but pendulums are really more, from my perspective, like stars or like astronomical bodies. Now, a star, like the big one that we're circling, can give life. If you find its sweet spot, if you find yourself in the Goldilocks zone. Mm-hmm. Pendulums are not all bad, all evil.
No,
we tend to see
not.
them that way,
yes,
because there are so many bad ones around. But let's just talk about this briefly. So you've got you're negotiating movement through the cosmos. Mm-hmm. And say you're a spaceship now, or a planet even, okay? The planet Earth revolves around the sun at a sweet spot where it's neither too hot nor too cold, but that's only a very narrow band around that star. Anything outside of that, life doesn't happen. It's mm-hmm. too cold or it's too hot. Easy, mm-hmm. easy, right? But it does mm-hmm. give life. But if you get too close to it, it will burn you. And that's mm-hmm. very true of a lot of pendulums. Yes. If you get too close, they will burn you. Yes. If you maintain the sweet spot, you can actually derive something from them. Because, and I don't mean to insult the sun, because I'm sure that the sun is an extremely conscious being that has its own agenda and its own consciousness. But let's just, for the sake of this conversation, say the sun is a big dumb beast. Mm-hmm. Right? It shines, but also has a gravity field. It will suck you in. You get too close, it will suck you in. Mm-hmm. It mm-hmm. will. Because that's its nature. You get too close to any negative, and many negative pendulums aren't even like stars. They're more like black holes. They just suck. They just grab you. They grab mm-hmm. you, and then you're gone. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. However, there is such a thing. For example, have you ever heard of a slingshot orbit?
I believe I have, but refresh my memory.
Okay, so basically, a rocket going to another planet in our solar system, the distances are huge, our rockets are much too slow. So what they do is that the very clever rocket scientists work out a way of getting very close to a planetary body. And as you get really, really close, you accelerate and you actually get faster. And then if you just hit the right angle, you don't crash into the planet, but you actually get a boost in your speed.
Mm-hmm. Because it pulls you.
That is actually a really, yeah, exactly. That's actually a really good way to negotiate with pendulums. Mm-hmm. You understand the dynamics of the pendulum. You look at it and you say, I can get something out of you to accelerate my movement. Now, this is not ordinary transurfing. This is a little more advanced, but usually what you can do is you find that sweet spot gravitationally, you can just zoom in and it looks as if you're going to crash, but because you've got that angle just right, you're going to zip past and you're going to go faster in the direction you want to go.
Okay, so can you give us an example?
All right, in real life, for example, what are we doing now? We're using the media pendulum, right?
Yes, exactly. I was going to actually suggest that we use this as an example because we're taking the better end of that.
Yeah, we're saying we don't have to behave like other media pendula.
Yeah.
Penduli.
Penduli.
Penduli. Actually, but we're not speaking Latin. Pendulums. So.
Not yet.
Yes, not yet. Sic transit gloria mundi. So what happens is we are assuming that we're taking the best of the media pendulum and also the best of the relatedness that it can happen. We are creating, to some extent, the illusion of intimacy. People think that they know us a little better because we reveal ourselves. Mm-hmm. But the reality is that's an illusion. I don't really know the millions of people watching. They don't know me. They have only this image, but we're constructing an image in order to benefit ourselves, because we do get something out of these interactions. You suddenly got, after doing this for 6 years yourself, yes, a revelation.
Yes.
Right? So it's helping us. Hopefully these conversations also help other people and something sparks and something awakens them. For example, the major revelation that we have the power to say no. We have the power to steer our spaceship close to the pendulum without crashing into it. We can choose the best part of the media and say, it's a great tool. Let's not get so involved in our own wonderfulness that we begin to believe our own press.
Yeah.
Because that can destroy us. Let's not abuse this power. Let's not enthrall people to the point where this is their one and only focus of life. Take from this the wisdom and say, understand what's going on, maintain that sweet spot of detachment and say, okay, they're just people, they're just talking about ideas. I'm going to take what works and I'm going to throw out what doesn't work, because what doesn't work might work later, but it's not just now, all that sort of stuff. It could be anything. It could be your job. Right? You could say, I'm here. If you say, I'm in it for the money until I find something better, then stay clear on that. I'm in it for the money until something better comes along, until I surf my way to a better job.
Yes.
Or a better way of negotiating with reality where I might not even need a job. Or I might need to make so little money because I've got so many other things in place where I can get my needs met without needing a huge amount of money. And from there, I can create in another space, because the creation happens all the time. So there's always that sweet spot of interacting with pendulums.
Well, this is, pendulums. Yeah, I mean, this is, I'm doing a pendulum series, which will already probably have finished on TransurfingTV. And I wanted to go into this, and I think I'll actually do a bonus lesson because I'm taking this as a sign. Vadim Zeland says in the book that pendulums are the gods of dreams, right? There's no way for us to accomplish our intentions without pendulums. There just isn't.
We need to orbit a star that warms us.
We need to orbit a star that warms us, absolutely. But this is your point with the media is a perfect one. It's like, use it to benefit you. Make certain that you are getting the better end of the deal, because if you do not have what it is that you want in your life right now, anything, it's probably because a pendulum is tapping you to the extent that you don't have the energy to go after it. You don't have the ability to see outer intention coming in your direction to give you that thing, because your focus is on the pendulum, and the pendulum is creating your reality for you. And I have absolutely fallen into this mode of operation. And it's, as we discussed in the beginning, it's kind of like a triage sort of situation. You have to assess the quickest and easiest way to get the pendulum off you, at least to start, and then start working in the direction, since you have that little boost of consciousness and energy that you can then apply to new direction or a new modus operandi, or at the very, very least, stop being so damn captivated with the mirror and turn your gaze inward to how you can work out within yourself what it is that you intend to have, so your mirror at least has an opportunity to give that reflection back to you. Because as long as you're staring at the news, this is another one that I absolutely love, and I didn't mention this, I touched on judgment briefly, but people that come on to TransurfingTV or ITI and have nothing but criticism for me or transurfing, it's like, well, I don't even know where to start, but the first thing that comes to mind is, there's something good here that's offering something, yet what you see and how you are engaging with that thing, ultimately, it's only a pendulum that's causing you to reinforce that negative reality that isn't serving you well, that led you to actually seek out answers in the first place, yet you don't accept those answers. You fall into the thing that's supposed to be there to provide you some answers that you searched for, in a way that it's a pendulum just taking more. Do you get what I'm saying here, or did I totally miss that?
I think that's a little naive, and I think that, to your credit, you think that people always come at things with good intentions. My experience is that the spectrum of intentions is huge. Some people come at things with a very positive intention. Some people come with a very negative intention. Some people come to anything just because they're spoiling for a fight, because it makes them feel alive, because the fight makes them feel valid. People get listened to. They're trying to become their own pendulum. Listen to me, listen to me, listen to me.
Wait, but don't you think that the troll hater still has just a little tiny 1% of higher self going, no, don't be a troll hater. Here, transurfing, it might help you. But then the other 99% is like, oh, I'm gonna rip this apart. And
okay, and that makes sense, because that 1% has led them to this particular thing to troll rather than trolling anything else. There's like a billion channels. There's a billion things that people could troll. They choose to troll this. Why are you choosing to troll this? Could you have been led here? Can you lead? We can lead the horses to water, but we can't make them drink. We can lead the whores to culture, but we can't make them think.
Are you saying horses or whores?
Both. The whores to culture, but we can't make them think. It's a famous quote from, forget her name. It'll come to me in a minute. Anyway, Dorothy Parker. That's right. So anyway, so Dorothy said that, and I always use that instead, because yes, you can lead anybody to something, but you can't force them, because they're in a state, as you alluded to earlier. If you're in a state where you become deaf or blind to what's being offered to you, a good positive thing, you will twist that into something horrible, because that's what you're doing. You're turning this wonderful steak into second-grade mincemeat, because that's what you do.
Yes.
Stop being a mince.
And then you're eating it, and you're throwing it up, and you're
and you're criticizing. Yeah, exactly, because you're addicted to that unhappiness for whatever reason.